Thank you all for coming. This is very impressive turnout. May I steal your water? I had some hummus, and trust me, I'm a Palestinian. Hummus gets really thirsty. We invented it. Okay. I have a beautiful speech, but since in the last 24 hours, there were elections in Israel. And since I'm a citizen of Israel, I don't know if you heard about the news, but the Israeli Arab Party won 13 mandates. That's the third largest party. But none of the competing big candidates is willing to be a partner of this party. Ironically, when I watch the news, no one brings members from that third largest party to interview them and listen to their perspective. I'm just talking about diversity. And no one in the media is concerned by the fact that the largest party is not being accepted simply because of their ethnicity. I wanted to put that in context, because that's what I'm going to talk about, because diversity is a personal issue for me. Because growing up as an Israeli Palestinian, I recall being frustrated by the misrepresentation of who I am in the Western media. I always wondered why guys sitting in London and Washington were presenting my perspective to the world. And when I moved to the West, I had to endure those horrific consequences of those reports. On many occasions, I was called a terrorist, or many unseemly adjectives, not by the uneducated, but rather by fellow liberals, often members of the media, who report the news. I initially thought it was all driven by hatred and malice. It was not. These people have been conditioned to years of negative stereotypes about others, and so unconsciously associate a certain group with those particular characteristics. We all possess these implicit biases because our brain is designed to focus on a fraction of information we receive and leave the rest to the automatic, preconceived associations which lead to the desperate treatment of others. For example, one study at the University of Alabama found that terror attacks committed by Muslims received 357% more coverage than attacks committed by others. This kind of repeated reinforcement of ideas plants the seed of this the implicit bias. So after 3 years of working as a neuroscientist at the University College London, I decided to leave that promising career in medicine and leap into this uncertain world of the media, hoping to make a change. Soon I realized that there was one dominant perspective about me in the Western media, and that has become the mainstream. And anything else was considered either extreme or irrelevant. Ironically, to the Arab media, I was too westernized or Israelized. But they opened their doors when I convinced them that I was one of them. But I didn't want to just preach to the choir. So I kept trying until 7 years ago. I was able to enter the pinnacle of Western media, the BBC. Now, the BBC is justly considered the champion of diversity. 15% of its employees are indeed from ethnic minorities. Yet, even there, all the editors and the executives I have dealt with at BBC News, English and World, were white, who, like decision makers from other organizations I worked for, often treated me with doubt, suspicion, or mistrust, while peoples of color within the BBC and others embraced me and supported me and praised my work and promoted me. One BBC News editor, who has become a friend of mine, told me that he was trepidatious about connecting with me because he had never met a Palestinian. Seriously, he was so nervous the first time we sat together. Another editor who wanted to meet me, take stories from me, but when she realized that I was Palestinian, she said, do you mind giving your stories to one of our reporters, a white reporter? And then she said, don't worry, my dear, I'll pay you exactly as much as I pay him. I said, thank you, and moved on. Well, this culture is pervasive also in the entertainment industry. I recall asking a well-known liberal producer, that's in England, who made a film about a Muslim woman. It's called Yasmin, 2003. I asked her why she hired a white director and a white writer to tell the story. Why not Muslims? She responded in front of a crowd like yours. I don't trust them. And this is a very liberal lady. I respect her, actually. I like her. These editors and producers form their views about others from their embedded implicit biases rather than personal experiences. And by failing to recognize those unconscious prejudices, they are unwittingly reinforcing them among their audiences. Furthermore, when they make decisions and speak on behalf of other ethnicities, they perpetuate the notion that people of color lack the intellectual capacity to speak for themselves. So they are inadvertently feeding the racism they are trying to stem. As long as the masses don't see diverse faces or hear diverse voices, I think that the media will remain a barrier that keeps us apart instead of being a bridge that brings us together. To change that, we need diversity in faith, ethnicity, gender, and sexual orientation among decision makers, not employees. Otherwise, we will continue to get more Trumps, Brexits, and populist regimes around the world. Finally, I would like to thank you on behalf of the HFPA. I would like to thank our panelists, Sewell Chan, Marina Walker Guevara, Leon Krause, Ren Haynes, for enlightening us with your knowledge and wisdom. Thank you. And you, Lester, I haven't forgot you. And you, Lester, for navigating this fascinating conversation. Thank you all. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you in the next one.